We're almost done.
Okay.
Luckily, smoking weed's not illegal, so that's the only thing they ever say about me is she smokes a lot of weed. I do. I have PTSD.
As long as you're doing it in your apartment.
Oh, I do it out there on my lovely patio. I have PTSD. That helps me quite a bit. I'm not ashamed of it. But you notice that that's the only thing they can point out. That's what Holly said to you, too. She smokes pot. That's what Christy says. She smokes pot. That's legal, right? That's the only thing any of them have ever said about me that's true.
Okay.
Because that's the only thing they think they can point out that's like negative somehow. Because I'm actually a really nice person. I'm actually a really giving person. The one next door, I walked her dog every day for 10 months for nothing. Just because I'm a nice person. But then she kept calling me fat and treating me like shit. So I told her I didn't want to be friends anymore, and that's where this ended up.
Gotcha.
That's how this all went. I told a narcissistic person I didn't want to be friends with her anymore, and she has waged a war of terror over me ever since. I know she told you guys that I stalk and harass and threaten her. She's telling everybody that. It's never happened. There's no evidence of it. That's why it's just somebody's word. You guys should never work off of someone's word. When one person claims something and they have nothing to back it up, maybe don't take that. And just because Paul Leach owns some restaurants doesn't mean that he's any better than anybody else. His mother-in-law has a serious, serious problem. I'm the only one who gives a shit because guess what? I told you that day, I don't want her arrested. I don't even want her in jail. I want an interlock device in her car, and I'd like to see her go to rehab because I'd love to see what she looks like, not in that state. That's what I want.
Gotcha.
And what these people want, what those people want, they just want the destruction of me. Why? Because I know all their secrets. That's why. I'm incredibly perceptive, and I'm also going to tell you, officer, I'm psychic. Truly. And that's what they'll tell you. She's crazy. Everybody says she's crazy. No, she's really perceptive, and she has insane pattern recognition skills. And I guess that's what we call psychic these days.
Gotcha.
I see stuff before it happens.
Okay.
And what's going to happen with Holly isn't going to be good. I want you to know that. I don't know, all I ever did was try to protect every single one of these people who is now treating me like I'm some kind of villain and enemy. I'm none of those things. Look at me being treated like I didn't kick her out of here. All I said was, can you please sit down and talk to me and tell me the truth about what happened? And I get called a bitch. I get called a cunt. I get told I'm crazy. I get told I'm fat. I get told this is why everybody hates you. Yeah, people hate me. People hate me. And why? Because I'm not afraid to tell the truth. And because I always tell the truth. And because I also have about 11 clouds full of information.
Yes, affirmative.
Including on you guys. You know, there were 2 officers who drove around and said they were fabricating evidence looking for her. And then before they've ever even met me, just like you said I was crazy before I ever even met you. One of them says to the other one, even though he's never even met me, this sounds like the neighbor. You're supposed to be looking for a drunk driver. I called when she almost hit somebody. He's supposed to be looking for someone who almost hit somebody and was allegedly drunk. But instead, one of them drives to Jude's and the other one drives to the cottage. They talk about Matt Leach in detail. Talk about Paul Leach in detail. Talk about intimate knowledge of the family. Go driving around to his establishments instead of looking for her. And then say, sounds like the neighbor. This hasn't gone viral yet, officer, but it will.
Okay.
What you guys have done is reprehensible. I have more respect for police than this. You weren't doing your job and you know it. The sad thing is I know I've been watched quite a bit, but the problem is I don't break the law. I don't do anything you guys can get me for. You've tried.
No.
Just like one second.
That's why I said slow. Up around.
Also, only got subject at the PD. She picked up the phone, advised me to talk to an officer, and then disconnected. We're not able to call her back. She did not come to distress.
This one's so sick that I had to go fetch everything for her. Right? She couldn't walk. She was so sick. But look at her go. Right? Look at her go. They just wanted to see exactly how far they could push me. That's what they do. It's pretty sad, isn't it? I'm not your enemy, officer. I never was.
I don't think of you as my enemy.
No, you do now, and you should now. Because I am your enemy now.
No? Okay.
What you did that day, you could have stopped her. You could have stopped her. She was screaming down the sidewalk at me with a mask on. Reasonable suspicion. When I said, can you stop her? You said, nope, without even pausing. I asked you to watch her drive. I asked you to turn around because she was doing the thing she does. She like gasses and goes, and her car goes chunk, chunk, chunk when she starts. Was doing it that day. The reason I got the body cam video specifically at first was because I wanted to see if you turned around or not. And you didn't. If you had, you could have absolutely pulled her over. And she would have blown at least twice the legal limit. Because she's never not at least twice the legal limit. You know it. They all know it. And yet now I get to watch that little car zip by. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She still stops at my door all the time. I waved at her once. I waved and smiled at her once. And you know what she did? She ran straight into that house next door. Because that's what they do. They all conspire. One of your officers, turned off his body cam for them. Ladies, he says to them, I have a body cam on. You want me to turn it off? I don't think you guys are supposed to do that.
We can in certain circumstances.
No. There is no reason for you to ever approach a witness and say, I have a body cam on. Do you want me to turn it off? Telling them you have it on? Absolutely. Asking them if they want you to turn it off? What do you think that conveys?
I don't know.
Yeah, hiding.
But you can take it up with the...
Oh, I've taken it up. Nobody will answer me.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'll just keep posting this stuff on YouTube. And eventually, somebody's going to pick up on it. The really sad thing is I have a feeling it's going to be when she kills somebody. Because she's going to. Officer, I told you that day, the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I used to lend her the money for her alcohol. That's who I am to these people. I'm everybody's entitlement. I'm everybody's enabler. They all know that I'm a people pleaser and I just want to help people and I just want to be nice to everybody. So when she used to need money all the time, I gave it to her. Until once that she insisted on driving me to the ATM to go get the money. And I saw the state that she was in and I saw how she drove. I could smell the alcohol coming off of her. I almost died like 4 times between here and the Bank of America parking lot just around the corner. Took her 4 tries to get into the stall of the ATM. Then she couldn't put the card in. She typed the code in wrong. Even though I told it to her, she typed it in wrong because she was so wasted out of her mind. And when I said, Holly, you can't be driving like this. What are you doing? Her answer was, I'm just tired. Everything's fine. What's wrong with you? Stop it. No. And that was when I stopped being able to watch that and I started calling you guys.
Gotcha.
And what did I get when I called you guys? I got you telling her I'm mentally ill and telling her to get an order of protection against me. And I've got 2 others coming and showing up and going in her house and telling her it's okay if she drinks and telling me I'm a Karen and I need to leave it alone. So my city police don't keep me safe. This association, Jackie, who lives over there, I think she's the one who talked to you guys, by the way. I'm pretty sure it was Jackie because she's the one who asked for the body cam to be turned off. There was a day when Holly decided to drive on the fire lane out here. You know, we got a fire lane right here. Sometimes she drives over there when she's super drunk so that I can't see her. And so she came down the fire lane, but then she couldn't figure out how to back up again. And this is 9 o'clock at night, by the way, so it's dark outside. And our association, one of our board members, watched her instead of backing up. She drove up. She drove up and around the dumpster and on the sidewalk where people's kids play, where people walk their dogs. In the dark of night, she drove up and on the sidewalk, around the yard, and back out into the parking lot. Showed up at Jackie's house, wasted out of her mind, with her pants undone, couldn't stand, couldn't talk, wasted out of her mind. And they knew that when they talked to you. But they're so obsessed with making me look bad because I wounded a narcissist by telling her I didn't want to be friends anymore, that they're going to tell you guys that I'm some crazy Karen who stalks and harasses people. No. Look around. I'm a nice person. I care about everybody. I want the best for everyone, even my enemy. She's my enemy and I let her live in my house. Why? Because I wanted to help her. And instead, I get burned again. That's how my life goes. And you know what? I wouldn't change a single thing because this is who I am and I want you to know who I am so that you remember this when it all comes out because I wasn't wrong.
Okay.
That bad, I gotta get the branches scratched.
Okay.
Yeah, I know she had bags of garbage back there. It's my son's room. He's 14 years old. He and I spent an entire Saturday clearing that whole thing out. He's a really good kid. He's just like his mom that way in that he wants to be a philanthropist. He wants to help people. He gave up his bedroom so that she could have it because he thought that she needed it. And he's the only one who's been punished by her leaving her stuff here because he'd like his bedroom back. Because right now he's living in a bird room where he's stuffed in there, can't even move in there. But he was willing to do that for her. And this is what we get. I get called a bitch, and I get called a cunt, and I get this. No good deed goes unpunished, right? Yeah. That's who I am. It's amazing how well she moves around now. Yeah. This woman. Yeah, this woman sees everything. You came into my home and you sponged money off of me, sponged food off of me, had me running your errands for you. Because I caught you lying.
So there's just one item.
This is what I
large
get.
Mattress, and then we'll be all set.
This woman, they hate this woman because this woman sees everything. And this woman chooses to do the right thing even at her own detriment. She's going crazy because that's her boyfriend coming down the stairs. You can come down here, son, if you want to. I can hear you coming. They're in love.
What kind of dogs are they?
He is a teddy bear. She is a Shih Tzu poodle mix. This one sees it all too. She's also a really nice person.
Okay.
And trust me, she knows what's up. This was the officer who came the first time who told Holly that I was crazy. Yeah, isn't that fun? You can go ahead and stand there, and officer, what you should say is like, I'm really sorry about that, because whether or not you remember it, it's on video. It's on video. It's immortalized forever. You can't change it. It is what it is. You could say, I'm sorry, I was misled. But you don't want to do that, right? Do you think you owe me an apology for calling me crazy before you ever even knew who I was? No, right? You'd never even spoken to me. You'd never even met me, but you told somebody I was crazy. Do you think that that's fair? Won't answer it, huh? Won't answer that. Officer what? Rossow?
Yep.
Right?
Chris, like 114 report.
You married?
21291.
Are you married?
Maybe.
Do you have daughters?
Maybe.
Would you like it if somebody treated your wife or your daughters like that if they were trying to do the right thing? Would you like it if someone called them crazy when they were calling the police because somebody was driving drunk where your children play? Would you like it if somebody was driving drunk on the sidewalks where your kids play? Because I guarantee you wouldn't. And I guarantee you that nobody trying to fight against that should be called crazy or have an order of protection taken out against them. Because I never, ever, ever approached her in any other way except to say, hey, I saw you almost hit, actually her truck. I saw you almost hit Yustena's truck the day you came. It was because I said to her, I saw you almost hit Yustena's truck, Holly. And you can't be doing that anymore. I have it on video, what I did. I'm going to call the police every time, and I need you to know that because this is becoming a problem. That's all I did. Mm-hmm. And you called me crazy for it, and you helped her take out an order of protection against me. I'm so ashamed of all of you, and you all owe me a gigantic apology. And when she does kill somebody, you're going to owe way more than that, because that's what's going to happen. That woman needs help. I don't hate her. I love her. I love the woman that just left here. I love every human being on this planet, and I want the best for everybody. But driving around drunk isn't the best for everybody. She drives her granddaughter to school every day. She told you that. In that video, she tells you, I drive Lucy to school every day. And you knew she was drunk.
I didn't, otherwise she would have been arrested.
No, I don't believe you, officer.
Yeah,
she was stumbling.
Drunk people.
She was stumbling. She was trying to smoke an unlit cigarette through a mask in that video. She then stumbles over to another car. Every single person that's watched that video has said over and over and over again how wasted she is. So you couldn't see it, and you're a trained police officer. But every single person that has watched that video has said, holy cow, who let her drive away from that? Yeah. I told you I suffer from PTSD. You all have exacerbated my condition to a degree that I can't even describe to you. Because I walk on pins and needles every day. I have goosebumps every day watching her fly back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to that liquor store and the city mart. That's where she goes. She goes there and she goes there and she gets little Bacardi bottles. And I still watch it to this day. But do I call anymore? No. Because when I do, I get hauled into court and I get called a Karen and I get threatened. And these people all feel completely justified in what they're doing to me now. I get abused by the people who are supposed to be taking care of this stuff. It's really sad that I can't call the... There was also a time... Did you ever work with Ken Ellinger?
Yeah, he was here when I started.
He was a real nice officer. I had a gentleman that used to work here who was stalking and harassing me, shining lights in my windows, following me all over the place. I kicked him out of my house one day when he came here to yell some homophobic slurs at one of my neighbors that was watching my son. He didn't like it that I had a gay man watching my son, so he came in and started yelling some homophobic slurs. So I kicked him out of my house. And he started texting the neighbors that he was going to kill me. So I called. Ken Ellinger showed up. Wouldn't take my statement, just wanted to tell me, just looked at the text stream and said, "You've responded to this man, so it's your own fault. You've led him on. It's your own fault." I said, "No, he works here. He texts me, and if you read the text, I don't feed into his stuff at all. He sends me 77 texts in a row, and all I say back is, 'You're a nice guy, and I'm glad we're friends.'" And then he threatened to arrest me for video recording him. People across the hallway used to beat their 1-year-old baby. So I called the police and I told them, I have video. Because you could hear it in the hallway, them screaming at each other about how you can't beat a baby like that. So I called the police. They wouldn't even listen to the video. It was a week later that baby was rushed out of here because they burned his whole forehead off. That's my interactions with the Crystal Lake Police.
You talk to the chief about it if you're unhappy.
Chief won't talk to me.
Okay.
I've left messages.
Gotcha.
Yeah, nobody will talk to me because I'm an inconvenient truth. People don't like me. Look at how she don't like me. Ask her why she doesn't like me. Because she caught me lying. Because she sees when I'm lying. Because she can tell when people are being untruthful to her. That's all. I've never yelled at her. Never called her a name. Never threatened her in any kind of way. In fact, she keeps texting me. I've been ignoring her. She called the police because I said I wanted to talk to her if she wanted to live in my house. So she ran out of here and called the police. Shows up and one of the officers who drove around looking for the leeches showed up. Didn't think I knew who he was, but I did. Yeah, it's just real freaking interesting that he's the one who made her leave. I didn't. I didn't kick her out. I didn't yell at her. I didn't threaten her. I didn't harm any of her things. So I want somebody at some point to tell me what it is that I'm guilty of here. Because all I've done is report the crimes, stay on top of it, whether it behooves me or not. I choose to do the right thing and I get punished every time. Then I had the police called on me because a neighbor who had a water balloon fight over there, right? Didn't clean it up. I don't know if you can hear, but we have birds here, right? And we love birds. We don't like balloons on the ground because they use them for their nesting, and if they swallow them, they die. So I stopped and told the gentleman, I don't know if you knew this about birds. And I explained it to him just like that. And he looked at me right in the eye and said, birds are going to die anyway. I don't give a fuck what kills them. Okay. So I walked away, came home and got my son, and we each got a plastic bag. And we went back and just started silently cleaning up the balloons. We didn't yell at anybody. We didn't tell them to do it. We didn't approach them. We weren't in their yard. We were on the fire lane. And they called the police on me. Don't remember what the officer's name was, even though he was just back here again with one of her things. Told me I was guilty of disorderly conduct before he had ever even talked to them. Now they're screaming at him that the only reason he's talking to me first is because I'm white. I believe his name was Diaz. Because I said to his name is Diaz. Like, this isn't, how can this be racial? Like, this is, what the heck? But before he even got their side of the story, he proceeded to tell me that I was guilty of disorderly conduct. Great. Arrest me. So I don't want to arrest you. I said, where do you get the disorderly conduct charge from? His answer was, it doesn't matter what you say. And it doesn't matter how you say it. The only thing that matters is how he takes it. So that's what I get from the Crystal Lake Police. Does that sound fair to you? Clean up water balloons. Calling on a drunk driver or letting destitute people live with me. These are all some pretty freaking egregious crimes, aren't they? But you've all painted me out to be a crazy person. And I don't appreciate any of that. And I'm glad that I got to have this because you break my heart, sir. Be better. Do better. You have a really important job that I respect a lot. I respect good police officers. I actually would, I'd lay down in traffic for the good police officers, I would. But the ones who will do this, you give everybody else a bad name. Don't ever do it again. Don't ever take someone's word just because of who they are. Because the most powerful people tend to be the biggest liars. You ever notice that? That's how they get to where they are. People like me who have nothing, we don't have any reason to lie. I'm not out to get anybody. The only thing I want is a safe place for myself and my son to live. This is where I live. This is where I walk my dog. This is where my son walks around. He walks to and from the break every day. You want to know what that does to my soul, knowing that he's walking and she's on the road? It scares the shit out of me, officer. And I'm going to keep telling you guys this. You're going to keep coming to my life. I'm going to keep telling you. I came in, I talked to, it's kind of funny that I came in to file a report about the fact that the previous manager, they say, embezzled hundreds of thousands of dollars from us. But they're not doing anything about it. I think she should be prosecuted. I think we should be going after that money. So I came in to file a report. The officer that I talked to would only talk around me, and it was very weird and obfuscative, and it didn't really make any sense. She was supposed to contact me back to get my evidence. Never did. But then, out of nowhere, she's telling me all about how I don't have enough evidence, even though she doesn't know what my evidence is. And I say, well, maybe you guys are going to be involved in the lawsuit the same way as they are, because I think I'm going to be suing the Crystal Lake police at this point. She says, I think I better go get my supervisor. So she did. So he came and he pretended to want to hear all about the situation with Holly and you and all the other officers involved and what actually happened with Ryan Shack and officer whatever the heck his name was. He never called me back either, because he did text me to ask me for the police report number. But when I looked it up, well, isn't that interesting that you're the officer who approved it? You know this whole situation. You're the one who put the seal of approval on it. And when I said that to him, that, hey, I see you were involved in this situation, then he never contacted me back again. I can't file a real complaint. I came in and did that. It's funny that I came in and filed a complaint with officer, what was his name? It started with an M. And a few days later, the cottage posted a picture of him on their Facebook page after he refused to speak to me again. Isn't that interesting? Why do you guys work for the business owners and not the people? Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that.
Was the phone number at Maine and Liberty ever provided?
Not sure, but go ahead with it if you have it.
Do you mean to move the couch? I'd prefer my backdrop stand not get broken, so I'll move the couch. Can you give me a minute though? I gotta move the mirror and stuff.